Welcome back to Sense of Spirit with Erin. That would make me Erin. I'm going to do a reading for you guys. This is going to be for the month of May 2025. It's going to be for the collective. So as you guys probably know, this means that it will pertain to some of you, but it may not pertain to everybody, okay? The idea is that if you have stumbled upon this video, then there's likely information in here for you, okay? I'm going to pull from 3 different decks tonight. I'm going to start with the Wisdom of the Oracle cards from Colette Baron Reid. And when I get these cards going, my intent is to ask our spirit guides and loved ones in spirit what message they need us to hear for the month of May. Now, if you've seen me before, you know that I am an intuitive reader, which means I don't ever select my decks before I do a reading, and I'm never really sure how many cards I'm going to pull. I just listen to the messages that come to me from Spirit, and I allow them to guide me. And they're telling me one more. There it is. Okay. And one more. Okay, so I'm going to take the top card because it fell out. And we're going to look at these 3 cards and start off. So the very first card is To Be Fair, which is talking about balance, okay? So over the course of the month, some of us may have some legal things that come to resolve. This may imply that we are negotiating either at work or with those around us to try to get things to work out a better way. The scales also are telling me to remember to balance. So it will be important this month to not overfill one side of the scale. Make sure that if you are working, you're playing just as hard as you're working, because we want to be steady is the message I'm getting. My eyes are also drawn to the owl at the top of the lady's head, which indicates to me we need to be aware of wisdom that feels as though it's coming in through our crown chakra, which would be from the other side, all right? So listen to your instincts, listen to the messages that you're getting. And as I've said before, try not to rationalize anything that you are hearing or thinking instinctively. If it doesn't correlate with what your thinking at that moment was, it's been placed there from your spirit guide. So listen to them as they advise you through the month of May and try to help you maintain that balance, okay? Second card is Yin. That's the feminine. So this card indicates to me that we're probably going to be paying attention to our words, all right? Maybe having a slightly softer approach when we're dealing with people and when we're dealing with things over the course of the month. We want to kind of put a little bit of a spin on it, as opposed to people like myself who tend to be very blunt. We are probably going to want to just make things a little bit softer, all right? This is talking about getting information, taking cues, and also, again, as you can see, we're getting messages from Spirit. If you can see the little faces up top. Not a surprise here, higher power. So this month is going to be using your third eye. If you can see, it's outlined here in the middle of her forehead. The owl, we talked about the information coming through your crown chakra, all right? Use these 2 things in tandem to benefit yourself as you move through the month. Now I'm going to pull a couple of other decks rather, so we can see maybe if we can get a little bit of clarity as to where our focus needs to be and exactly what our guides are trying to tell us. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, so it's an evolution is what it is. You can see the snake. The snakes shed their skin, which is a transformation, which means you have outgrown a person, a place, a thing, a thought, a process, something. You're evolving. And with that, you're being encouraged to remember to use your voice like the cicada. Okay, it's all right to say what you're thinking. It's all right to share your ideas. It's okay to say no and stand up for the things that you want. Having said that, I want you to also remember that your spirit team is in full support of your new decisions and your new directions and your voice. So don't be afraid to use it this month. Number 3 and number 6 have come up a few times on the cards now. So pay attention to those as reminders perhaps of this conversation, or they could be important numbers to you. They could be the repeating numbers that you see on a regular basis. All right, so that's confirmation. 3 and 6 are going to play into your days as we move through the month of May. Finally, let's get a card from the Power of Surrender cards and see exactly what our team wants us to release. I'm going to just clear the deck, and I heard to pull 2 cards for you. So there's a couple of things we're obviously working on, and they want you to be focused on. Okay. Telling me to split. And that makes perfect sense, doesn't it? Okay. So, first reminder is to surrender to unhealthy relationships, which makes sense, right? It's placed on top of the snake skin, the snake, which talked about shedding, which talked about change. So this is a time where some of you who have been considering changing your relationship status, or perhaps scaling back time that you're spending with anybody, doesn't have to be a significant other. It could be your friend circle. There could be somebody who is just not in alignment with who you are anymore. All right. This is a good time for you to sever those relationships, to appreciate the fact that you've grown, respect where the other people are, and either they'll catch up or they won't. All right. But the point is that who you are as a person has extreme value. And it's time to remember that about yourself and to treat yourself as though you would I always reference children, like how I would want my child treated if they had a friend or a partner. All right. What I wouldn't tolerate for them, don't tolerate for yourself. It's okay. We all shift. We all change. It happens. Let go of the worry. Okay, this card, she's on the swing. This always reminds me of kind of being with the wind, being very carefree, and focusing in on more of the moment as opposed to what's coming down in the future. If you feel yourself becoming overwhelmed, I would recommend you could do a very quick breathing exercise where you would inhale and count to 3, hold for 3, release for 3. And that little exercise will give you just a second to kind of find your ground and return and steady yourself just a little bit. Okay. The point is to focus on yourself and to trust those in spirit and know that they are with you continually. They are guiding you. You're not alone. You're supported. All right. So again, the month of May looks like it's finding our balance, making sure that we're not overloading our lives in one section of our world, finding a little bit of our femininity and trying to be a little bit more gracious, perhaps, with the way we say things as we trust a higher power, because we're being led to release people, things, ideas that no longer serve us, find our own voice, and trust that we don't have to be concerned with how we are being perceived by other people. It's all about us finding the power within ourselves and knowing that we are worthy and we are valuable and we don't have to tolerate the things that make us unhappy. Okay? Everybody has something valuable that they can offer, and that's where they want you to spend your time focusing. I'm going to pull one more card. I heard spirit messages in my head, so I will pull one to place on top of this to just finish our look at the month of May 2025 and see what our guides want us to know. Believe. They all tie in, right? Again, another purple card, purple. Focus on your heart. Focus on what makes your heart sing. This is believing that whatever you want to happen can happen. Do not place restrictions or limitations on yourself. Believe in who you are and know that you can accomplish anything, because you're not alone. You're just not. They're with you and they want you to know that. So May is a month of growth for everybody. I hope this is helpful to some of you. I think overall it's a really interesting perspective. It was very different than the reading I did for my subscription group. So I know that there are people who need to hear this. Again, I'm Erin. My business is Sense of Spirit with Erin. I hope you found some value in this. And I will see you again soon. Thanks for your time.